Hello everybody. Many people know what Mentos is. Who doesn't know this is one of the most popular mint gums in the world? Mentos gained huge popularity due to the reaction with Coca-Cola. Yeah, okay, other bloggers had a much higher fountain. Write in the comments what I did wrong. We need to figure out what Mentos consists of. Upon careful examination, menthol inclusions are on the Glaze layer. Now let's look inside. Here we have soft white gum. And it turns out that there's also mint syrup inside of it. Now everything is clear and you can start cooking a giant Mentos. Let's start with the forms. Pour some oil inside the hemispheres. And spread it out evenly with a brush. Unfold some parchment and cut a piece of the length of the mold. Every 4 centimeters, you need to make an incision. Now we cover the form. Thanks to the oil, the parchment sticks. Cover it so that there is not one single gap on the molds. Now let's start with these little blue inclusions. For this, we will cook some caramel. Pour some sugar into a saucepan, and pour in a little bit of water. And in order to refresh our breath, we will need some crystals of pure menthol. They just have like this unrealistically powerful aroma. We set a small pinch into the saucepan, and we cook the caramel to 145 degrees. Now you can remove it. Let's repaint the menthol caramel in blue. We're going to use a square shape for filling, but first we will upgrade it with a sealing tape. With scissors, we cut it lengthwise. And put it on the mold. Done. Now the mold will be sealed. We apply it to the mold and pour in the blue caramel. And to speed up the solidification, we will use liquid nitrogen in a can. We will put on a tube so as not to freeze our fingers. And we spray nitrogen directly out of the hot caramel. The spray temperature is negative 195 degrees, so the caramel freezes almost instantly. And our first round is done. You can bend the shape a little bit to make them more random. And again, pour in some caramel. As a result, we make a lot of little inclusions. So let's turn to the white glaze. Pour some sugar in. Corn syrup. And water into a saucepan. That's it, and then we're gonna put it on the stove. And we're gonna cook this in 4 pots at once. We cook the caramel for 10 minutes until it reaches 137 degrees. Quickly remove from the stove and color it white. Pour this into the mold and try to make sure that the thickness of the glaze is the same on all sides. Most of it still flows down, so we smear it around with a spatula. It took us 3 hours to fill the glaze. Now we'll turn to the gooey layer. Pour 3 liters of water into a large saucepan. We will also need 900 grams of gelatin. Gradually pour it in while stirring with a whisk. That way it swells evenly. When the mass has already become like a puree, it is ready. Next, you will need 5 kilograms of coconut oil. We open up a plastic canister. And dump the oil into the pan. Now you just gotta pour 1.6 kilograms of cornstarch in. And mix this mass with a huge mixer. This is only part of the filling, and we'll need it later. And now we need a 30 kilowatt megaflow gas burner. We can connect a gas cylinder to it. We install a hefty saucepan on top and pour 10 liters of corn syrup into it. Now we pour 40 kilograms of sugar on top. And 8 liters of water. That's it, cover with the lid, and turn on the burner to maximum. After about 10 minutes, the caramel is boiled. It is very important for us to monitor the temperature here. This caramel was cooked for another 30 minutes. And when it reaches 135 degrees, it needs to be poured into the second pan with a mixture that we prepared in advance. And mix everything together with the mixer. It's time to solve the problem of rapid cooling this mass. We want to do it with dry ice. In fact, it is frozen carbon dioxide and its temperature is negative 78 degrees. That is, it is 4 times colder than ordinary ice from the freezer. Pour half the dry ice into a large saucepan. And then the pan with the hot mass on top. At the junction, hot ice evaporates very quickly and squeaks funny. The second half of the dry ice is filled between the walls so that the cooling is more effective. The pan has already managed to be covered with frost. We begin to mix the mass for its uniform cooling. Half an hour later, the mass noticeably lightened and even increased a little in volume. This is due to the fact that we have driven a lot of air bubbles into it. After another hour of mixing, the mass has almost cooled down and is already stretching like gum. But we need an even whiter color, so we'll add a powder dye and mix it in. Just like that. As a result, an almost white chewing mass is obtained. Pour this into the molds. and we'll send them into the freezer. Exactly into the middle, you need to squeeze out the recesses with the help of bowls. And leave that to freeze for a whole day. Now it's time to make the mint syrup. The menthol crystals that we used earlier have a very strong cooling aroma, but it is the taste of mint that they do not have. Therefore, we will make the flavor ourselves. We shove a piece of gauze into the extractor as a filter, and fill it almost to the top with dried mint. On top, we throw another wad of gauze. Pour 2 bottles of alcohol into the flask. Then we throw in 2 little pieces as boiling water. We install the extractor on the stove and fix it on a tripod so that it doesn't fall. On top, we have another flask called a refrigerator, and we also fix that. From below to the refrigerator, we attach a tube. Put the second end on the adapter and pull that right onto the faucet. There is an exit from the top of the refrigerator. A tube is also needed to it. The second end is thrown into the sink, and we turn on cold water. The refrigerator is filled with water and flows out through the upper tube. This way the water circulates and it stays cold all the time. You can turn on the stove. The alcohol is boiled, but the how will it turn into a flavoring agent? So, upon reaching 70 degrees, the alcohol evaporates and the vapors rise up into the tube. As soon as it reaches the refrigerator, it condenses and flows into our mint in the form of drops. Thus, the extractor is constantly filled and the alcohol, having gained a mint flavor, flows back into the lower flask. After 5 hours of extraction, I think we have squeezed the maximum out of the mint. We evaporate the liquid in the flask to make it more concentrated and get rid of the alcohol vapors. And we're left with an unrealistically powerful flavor. We're going to color it blue. And pour it through a sieve into a decanter. Now we'll pour in corn syrup. And just mix it up. That's it, the mint filling that will get the taste of our giant Mentos is ready. The chewing mass is already frozen, so we take out the bowls. And fill out the depressions with our mint syrup. We leave this to freeze overnight. Already in the morning, the syrup is hardened and you can get the molds out of the freezer. Immediately remove the sticking white glaze. And we take out the halves of the huge Mentos from the molds. Now we tear up the stuck parchment. We trim the edges a little bit more. Finally, you can connect them. Not bad, but the joint is ugly. So we'll make some more white glaze and go through it at the seam. Just as you see right now. That's it, the giant Mentos weighing in at 70 kilograms is finally ready. It took 4 days to prepare, and in my opinion, it is very similar to its little original. Now let's try our giant Mentos. And it really chews like gum. We decided to pack it in plastic wrap and send it to children in need to the Mother and Children's Home. Write in the comments VANZAI Cook and choose what exactly, a Mars bar, nuts, or lion. And if we get 300,000 likes under this video, then we will prepare whatever gets the most votes. Bye everybody!